Good morning.
Good morning.
If you're watching this live, you just saw this is we're doing things imperfectly behind the scenes. Anyways, welcome to the 4th episode of Building an Empire State of Mind.
Yeah.
How are you, Jen?
Good. How are you?
Good. We have an amazing guest. So if you're just joining this podcast, if you don't know who we are, we built the Building an Empire State of Mind podcast is all on the state of mind of building an empire and getting there and just killing it. Our goal is to help a million women. A million women gain financial freedom through real estate. So Jen has been in real estate. I've been in real estate, and we want to bring on guests that are killing it in their own businesses, which brings us to Kaila. Do you want to tell us a little bit about our today's guest?
Yeah. So Kaila Pilecki is a certified executive coach and co-founder of My Aligned Purpose, a coaching and learning company for ambitious women entrepreneurs. She has over a decade of experience working in leadership and fundraising roles with nonprofit organizations where she raised millions of dollars to facilitate social change. As an entrepreneur through and through, Kaila has established and operated multiple businesses, including her coaching practice, managing real estate, painting houses, and creating artisanal cultured butter. Kaila specializes in creating effective, profit-driven business systems that take the guesswork out of growth and scaling your business. Her mission is to support women in building their wealth.
Yay! Let's bring on Kaila. Hi,
Hi.
Kaila.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did the butter throw you for a loop, Jen?
Yeah. I mean, it ties right in there with growing wealth for sure. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Coffee?
Yeah, water.
There you go.
You're healthier than both of us.
I stopped drinking coffee months ago.
You did? Are you crazy?
I couldn't do the afternoon lulls any longer, so I had to stop.
I'm
Yeah.
not surprised. Are you surprised, Carly?
Yes, I am surprised. I live off coffee.
Oh.
So it's my thing. But anyways, we're not here to talk about coffee. Let's talk about you, Kaila.
Okay. Good
Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. This is my first time meeting Kaila in real life. I have heard so much about Kaila and Nicole. They are each a part of My Aligned Purpose. And I have been following you guys. You guys should go follow them on Instagram.
Yes. Join
at myalignedpurpose.com or at myalignedpurpose on Instagram.
Yeah.
And look, you guys, Nicole's here tuning in. We'll have Nicole on, I believe, next week. So we get both of them. So you, I hear, are the integrator and you are the systems, and you make stuff happen behind the scenes, I hear.
I do. I love executing. I love making the systems happen. I can't go to sleep at night if something's not complete. You know how there are people who love to start stuff?
Yes.
I am the opposite.
Me.
Really? Jen,
I need a Kaila in my life.
Yeah, I need things to be finished.
Like you need help finishing things?
Complete. Yeah. No. I finished.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is our thing. When
Yeah.
I do the laundry, I do it till it's put away.
Yes.
And I hear that there are people out there who have piles of laundry in their house. And then once they start it, they don't put it away after. Is that you?
That happens.
I
could pan the camera to right there, and you will see a pile of clean kids' clothes right behind me.
I can't. Okay. So anyway, that's actually Nicole and I often talk about, like, if you're confused, if you're an ideas person, a starter or a finisher, or what's your role in your business, it's like, just look at how you do laundry. Do you complete the laundry cycle and put the stuff away right away? Then you may be a strategizer and executor. Okay. Oh,
okay.
Okay. it's so fun to see the comments.
Isn't it cool? We
Yeah.
love to have people come in here, and Elena, we had her in there. We love to we want to make it a conversation. So we want to talk with you and learn with you, and we want the community. Because you can't do anything. Like when you're a mom, you say you need the village. You need the village, and the same thing you need with starting a business. It's a whole different kind of baby. Is you need those people that have that mindset. That's like, oh, you want to start. You want to get a $700 million multifamily building. Nice. Good luck. So you need that community to believe in you. And we want to help people as we talk. So it's kind of fun to have everybody talk through here.
Oh, yeah. Really.
On that note, my big question for Kaila is, what sort of mindset did you go into leaving your 9 to 5 with? Or, you being more into systems, I wonder if it was like a spreadsheet, like I have to make this much. What drove that decision for you to be comfortable to leave?
Okay, I hear your question. And the other weird thing about me is I'm not that detail oriented. I am when I need to be, but I'm not that detail oriented.
Wow.
I like to especially meeting Nicole, I really lean into my energy and my intuition on how I feel about things, and then go towards that direction. But yes, I did have, so I'll just tell a little bit of my story. So I've always been an entrepreneur. When I was a little kid, when you think back, what did you love to do when you were a little kid? I would have my journal and plan businesses. I remember being on a road trip and being like, we're going to open a smoothie bar and we're going to have all these types of smoothies. And this is how we're going to have the sign outside. And it's going to be really cute. And we're going to be able to service all these different types of people who love health food. Okay. So that was my little kid brain. And then when I was in undergrad at SFU, I heard through the grapevine that this person named Craig Weckerly, who every time I say that, somebody knows him. Anyway, hi, Craig, if you're watching. Craig Weckerly made 20 grand last summer painting houses. And I was like, what? Okay. How complicated could this be? Sign me up. So I had a StudentWorks painting franchise and did that for a few years and learned so much about, hiring and firing and balancing books and buying equipment and how to lift 40-foot ladders and all that kind of stuff that you need to know in terms of, doing work on houses. And when I wrapped that up, I became a fundraiser. And fundraising is also about being scrappy and about figuring out how you're going to build the next campaign and who you're going to ask for the money and who's going to support it and who's going to ask their friends and all the strategy around that. And then leaving fundraising, there were a lot of times where I was like, okay, I got to do something for myself. I don't like the control aspect of the 9 to 5, but I really enjoyed the challenge of fundraising. And not that many people like making cold calls or knocking on doors, but I would say that's one of my top passions. I just get into it. I'm like,
wow.
Give me a list. I'll call every single person and we'll see what happens by the end. That's just how I am. I've always been like that. I've always loved meeting strangers and seeing how we can make the connections. And then I did this little side thing. I am really into butter. I don't really eat dairy anymore, but my family's from Nova Scotia. And are either of you, do you know Nova Scotians? Okay, when you make your toast in the morning and you're from Nova Scotia, you put as much butter on that toast, it's still white. It looks like a piece of cheese. And that's how I grew up. And my husband,
I love it.
My husband who's from here, yes, butter is the bomb. Oh my God, the chat. Okay, and Nicole knows, obviously she knows the butter story. And obviously she's also from Nova Scotia, so she understands the butter thing. Anyway, so my family's really into butter. And then I decided, okay, I think I can make it. And I kind of did it as a hobby. And then I got really deep into it. Then I started buying cultures from Europe and culturing the cream and churning the butter. And then I was like, I'm going to make this into a business. So then I made it into a business, and I had a business partner who helped with some of the production and the marketing and that kind of thing. But I truly I'm the executor. When I get into something, I take it all the way. And I decided, am I going to buy a churn and a commercial kitchen and go all in on butter and compete with Canada's biggest dairy companies, Saputo, and go and Dragon's Den and be like the butter lady? Or am I going to just channel all this energy into something else? Like we were kind of at the point where we were selling out all of the butter we churned at markets and like pretty quickly. And to do this at scale meant like hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. And I was like, I don't know if this is really my calling to be a farmer because like I live in
love it.
And it's actually really hard to source organic cream or grass-fed butter. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, I know a bit too much about this now. I need to dial it back, do what I really love. And that initially was real estate. And so long story short, the way that I actually got to leave my 9-to-5 is that I had a condo in Vancouver, my husband and I, and we bought a house in Victoria and we started renting out a portion of the house as an Airbnb. And so we had all these different streams of income coming in. My mom was like, I think you can make this easier on yourself, potentially sell the condo and then like do what you really love to do all day. And I was so insulted. I was like, I will never sell any estate I buy. Like till the day I die, I'm going to own this condo and millions of others. Then I thought, okay, like it took me a little while to get past that. And then I was like, I could sell the condo, I went to Railroads for coaching, like did a graduate certificate, learned about coaching that way. I didn't know that I wanted to be a coach, but I knew I wanted to get better at communication and I knew I needed to do something in fundraising. So I sold the condo and then that gave me the space to be able to pay off some more of this mortgage and have cash in the bank to do what I wanted to do. And still, after I sold the condo, I sold it in June, I still took all the way till the next January to get the courage to leave my 9-to-5. I had so much cash in the bank. I was still scared. It was so scary.
How did you get over that mindset? Because we had Elena, she came on and she just talked about that. Like, it's so hard going from that mindset. Like, how did you do that? And like, how did you overcome that scariness?
Well, I knew what I wanted and I truly knew what I wanted, but I was scared to tell the people who I worked with because fundraising, like everybody knows everybody. And my friend had hired me to work in the office here in Victoria because we moved from Vancouver. And I really, really cared about her. I do care about her now, but in the moment I was like, I really care about you. And I could see how this is going to be. Like, I was just so attached to how hard it would be to find someone else and then what would happen. But the moment that I decided, I told Nicole, we were co-coaching each other every Monday morning. We met on Zoom and coached each other towards our goals. And I was like, I need to get out. And I saw Nicole post on Instagram that she was going full-time as a coach. And I had this feeling like sometimes envy really shows you what you want. Right?
Line. It really does.
I saw Nicole post she's a full-time coach and I was like, fuck this, I'm quitting today. And then I messaged her and I was like, can we please meet up and you can tell me how you left? And then we met and she was like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, good, got it. So then I told her, like, as my coach at the time, I was like, I'm leaving and you have to hold me accountable. And she did. And then I was like in the meeting and I was like, I'm quitting. My boss asked me, like, how are you going to pay for your mortgage? Like, she didn't know this whole backstory that I actually had cash in the bank. And I was like, I'm fine. Like, she was more worried about me, like, being unhinged or something by quitting. Like, she was like, what's wrong with you? How are you going to live without a salary? But I was way past that. And I was like, I have it sorted out. I'm going to, like, I have to leave. This is the end. I called Nicole after. I was like, I did it the whole time. I just pictured that I was talking to you and I knew if I didn't do it, you'd kill me. So here I am. I did it. She was like, okay. And off we went to the races.
Oh my gosh.
So when you actually gave your notice, you had made the decision to start coaching, but I
was at Railroads. I'd already been taking coaching school for 4 months. I negotiated with my job. I tried to quit in August and it was like, no, you can't quit. And I was like, okay. And then I said, okay, so since I can't quit, I need time to practice coaching and I'll coach everybody here. I just need time. And I promise I'll hit my goals and I will like show up double time, but I need time to finish this program. And my boss is so great. She's like, yeah, do your program and make sure you show me the money because that's how fundraising is. I was like, okay. And then when I met Nicole, and I was like, please help me get out. It was all it was like, you know, that New York Times cartoon where there's a guy behind the jail bars and the jail bars are just like the jail bars and everything else around is open and he's holding on. He's like, how do I get out of jail? And everybody else is like, just let go of the bars. Like, what are you doing?
That's such a good analogy. It is like that.
Yeah.
And like once you're on the other side of that, you're like, that was easy. But like when you're in there, you're like, I'm stuck in jail. I can't get out.
You're like, oh my God, I am tethered to these bars. I can't. I have the handcuffs on. It's like, okay, the handcuffs aren't locked, first of all. You can just undo them. And second of all, the bars aren't even real. So you just do you. Everyone else will survive.
And you did it. And that was what? Did you say that was March of 20? Did you say this was during COVID? When did?
It was January of 2020. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing my own thing. I don't know what it is. I didn't really have a plan. Nicole and I hadn't decided to work together like in a business yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, okay, I'll give myself a year. It's an experiment. I can give myself a year to figure this out. And if I can't figure it out and I hate working for myself for whatever reason, I'll just get another fundraising job. No problem. That seems to be okay. I have, 12 years of experience and lots of money raised by then. I can get another fundraising job. And then in March 2020, my husband got laid off from COVID. So we were just like at home. I was 3 months pregnant. We both didn't have jobs. We're like, okay, well, this has taken a big turn from all the money and non-freedom we had in January. Now we have no cash flow and zero cash flow and all the time in the world. So off we went.
Had you sold at this point? Had you sold your condo? So you were like,
yeah.
Did you have that to fall back on? So you, that's very nice to have that.
Yeah, it is nice. And we worked so hard to get the 20% down for that condo and actually have equity in the condo before selling it, which I do. I mean, like, I know this is your area of expertise for sure, but if it's your first place, I do really recommend to people when I'm working with them or when I'm coaching them to consider, yes, you can get scrappy and you don't have to have 20% down, but when you have equity in that first building or condo or house or whatever you buy, then you have so much more leverage to be able to do something with it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so you guys coach. It sounds, oops, I didn't mean to hide that. It sounds like you were just like, we're coaching each other, we're like being with each other. So how did My Aligned Purpose start? Like, how did you guys get that like light bulb where you're like, co-coaching? Of course.
Oh, so we were coaching each other and we would come together every single week at 9 a.m. Because, when you're an entrepreneur and there's like no timeline on anything, you're just in charge now. Like people used to tell you where to be and when to show up and what work you have to do and what your deadlines are. And then all of a sudden it's all you. Okay. So we were like, we're going to set this up so that we coach each other. We're going to start work every single Monday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to cheers our coffee. I coached Nicole for half an hour. She coached me, and then we knew what we were doing for the rest of the week, and we texted every day, and we got along so well. So we knew that was happening, and then Nicole had this idea. Nicole is an idea popcorn machine, you'll hear when she's on the pod. She had this idea that she wanted to teach everybody how to manifest, and she put it on her Instagram. We're coaching or whatever happened. She texted me and she's like, I'm just going to put it out on my IG that I'm going to teach everyone how to manifest in a Facebook group for 4 weeks, like a 4-week manifesting class. I'm going to do every Monday. I'll go live after this call, like after we coached, and I'm going to teach everybody how to manifest, or maybe it was lunchtime or something. And everybody's off work from COVID and or at home, and everybody wants to manifest to get out of this effing situation. As we know, think back to May 2020 when we were like, is it over yet? And it was just setting in that it was never going to be over. This is the time. So Nicole put it out there, and that day, I remember the first screenshot she showed me, 86 people had messaged her and said they wanted to come. And then it just like kept going. I think at the end of it, there were like 140 people or something when she started that manifesting group. And then we're still coaching each other, and I'm supporting her in the group. And like, I don't know, doing whatever, dropping links when she's talking, or, you know, just being like a good side
Hype girl.
Yay, hype girl. Yeah, I'm a hype girl.
Yeah.
And then, so then we realized everybody wants to manifest money. And what do I love? Money. And I love building wealth. And I love women being empowered to build their own wealth. Somebody just saying the difference, like between no one ever telling you you can make your own money and somebody introducing this concept that you can build your own wealth and you don't need anyone else to do that for you and it's all available for you, is like, that's what I'm here for. So we're doing this manifesting class. People are like, I want to manifest money. I want to manifest things money can buy. I want to manifest experiences you need money for. Like, money is a neutral tool and we need it to get our best life, essentially, unless you're like living off the grid somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Who's living off the grid? Who's watching this? None of us. Okay, so we were like, oh, okay, let's create a class called Manifesting Money Masterclass. And we'll do 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it was in the beginning to manifest money. And we'll sell this course. And then 50 people bought it. And basically we were off to the races from there. We did our first course. We refined it. We sold it again. We refined it. We sold it again. And we just like tracked people's results. And because we're trained coaches, we come from this place of curiosity and we come from this place of anything is possible and hype girls, and you want that, go fucking get it. It's all yours. It's available. Then it was the perfect fit for our first course. So everybody then we wanted to leave their 9 to 5. So then we were like, okay, come do an online business with us.
I love it. That's so cool. You said something. You said money is available for all of us to decide to build wealth. And I couldn't agree with more with that. But will you elaborate on what you meant by that for all of the listeners?
Yeah, I guess it's like, okay, so if we look outside the window right now, like I'm sitting down here and I'm looking out my window and I see my neighbor's house, I see a whole bunch of other houses, cars in the driveway, my neighbor's just got a Nissan Leaf, cars driving by. Everything that exists was just an idea. And previously, before, it used to be like, even in the 1970s, let's say, men had to sign for their wives' bank accounts and say, yes, she can have a credit card or a bank card or whatever. So even though it seems like we're really far gone from that time, the collective consciousness is still like a bit slow to pick up the fact that women can build wealth just like men can. And so my true calling, and what I've heard over and over again, like I used to have a meetup called Lady Investors where I wanted to get together and talk about market investing, but it was only for women. And so many people would come and be like, I know nothing, and I'm just here to learn about anything you can teach me. And it's like, I just want to stand on my roof and scream, take responsibility for building your own wealth. It is if it's available for that guy, it's available for you. If that idea turned into a car, or that idea got somebody to buy a house, like everything is owned by someone. Why not you? And so that's what we talk about in My Aligned Purpose. It's like, if you have the spark of desire that you want to start something, have an online business, be a real estate investor, teach people how to do that like Jen's doing, you know, whatever that looks like, you can create it, especially in the age of the internet, especially now because of online business. We can magnetize the people who care about what we're talking about, and the people who don't, we don't have to deal with them. Haters gonna hate. They can go hate somewhere else. Absolutely. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, let's do this. As I just went to Shania Twain on Tuesday, and I have to quote her right now. Let's go, girls.
That was one of the biggest things that Carly and I, when we first met, really bonded over, was that we were at this joint mastermind, right? It wasn't our husbands. We left our kids and all of those mother responsibilities that, you know, most of the fathers don't feel. And then still now, the number of times that I get asked at conferences or masterminds or anything where my husband is crazy. And I think the reactions to when I say at home with our kids is even crazier. Like, people are astonished that, you know, I'm the driving force. I'm like, if my husband was doing this, I don't even know if we would own real estate. In all honesty, he was not completely on board. He was always supportive. Like, this sounds interesting. You go do that. I don't really want it to take a lot of my time. And then with my personality, very much like yours, all in or all out, I was like, I'm all in. And that's how like I've got to where I've been for the last 3 years. And then meeting other women who are okay with talking about money. Like, I have no problem if people want to tell me their financial situations and how I can help them. That's great. If you want to know how much something costs or a building, that's fine. It's all relative. And I think a lot of that too, probably for you as well, capital raising, right? People are like, oh, I have some money. Like, what should I do? I'm like, well, you need to tell me how much money you have so that I can tell you what sort of your best avenue is. The answer is going to be different if you have $25,000 compared to $500,000. And, when I first started, those amounts of money, like $500,000, I was like, holy cow, like $500,000. But now, just like the people you hang around with and the more and more conversations you have, it's totally normal.
Yeah. Well, Nicole and I were out for lunch last year in the summer, and we were planning our calendar for 2023 because we are big fans of time blocking. We do not fuck around with the calendar. It's like, if it's in there, it's happening. If we're blocked, we follow the calendar. So we were planning it last summer. It was a beautiful day. We're on a patio. We're talking to each other about like building our 7-figure business. And we overheard these old guys sitting at a table beside us, a little bit further away, but kind of like beside us, talking about like, yeah, I put $100K into that project. Or one guy was talking about how he invested $120K in this thing and he's going to see what the return is on it. It's just a test investment for him. And they were sitting around talking about money. And it's like, how often do women get together and sit around and talk about money? And we just don't see that very often. So that's what we're creating. We're like, okay, that's what we want to do. Let's come together like through Align Business School or through people who really want to get into the masterminding component of it in Platinum and be supported for an entire year. But Align Business School to begin, let's talk about how much money you want to take. Let's talk about pricing your programs. Let's talk about building your business so you can support your lifestyle with your business. There's also this idea that you can have a business and it's going to take a long time to make any money you can take home, which is not true. Let's just like, that's not true. That is not the truth, especially with the internet. Yeah,
absolutely.
Programs, yeah.
And you said, so, and something that you said, like so when women get together and they talk about money and it's okay and it's not such a taboo topic and they're out there, like the opportunities are endless. Like what happens when we put ourselves in rooms like this, in rooms like that, where we're like, I have $500,000 and I want to do this. Here's my goals. Here's what I have. Let's help each other get there. So it's really, but that's what you guys are doing too, is just getting everybody together and saying,
yeah, we don't gatekeep the information. That's really important to both to myself and Nicole. Is like, if we have information that can help someone move forward, we will share it. You can take it or leave it. You can choose to use it or not. But the information that we have, if it's going to help you, we're going to give it to you, and you can, run with it from there, and we'll all grow together. So it's like, it's just so important. We're catching up and we're taking over. We're ambitious women all together in the My Align Purpose sphere and in your sphere, and we're all intersecting. And it's like, Jen wants to learn how to have an online business that makes 7 figures. I want to learn how to have an apartment building or multiple that makes 7 figures a year. Carly, I can't wait to learn more about your goals, and like, let's do them all together. Why not?
Yes, I love it.
People out, come on board.
You cannot do anything. That's one thing I've learned from Jen and I are in a sub 2 mentorship, which is creative finance for real estate. Pace Morby is the guy behind it. And he tells us over and over again, you can't be a lone wolf. You can't do anything alone. You need a community. You need each other. You need to help each other. And you go there so much faster. It's like walking or going in a Lamborghini to somewhere.
And it's like creating communities, and something we really believe in is creating communities where everyone can feel safe. And questions are not stupid questions to ask, and no one's better than anybody else. It's like we can all come in and grow and learn together, whatever our goals are. Question, what's sub 2? What does that mean?
So that's a good question. So it's a mentorship that we're in. It's short for subject 2.
Oh.
And it's
like in a
it
real estate
teaches
deal?
us to buy real estate without banks. So you're saying like without 1031 exchanges, or like, so we can go and take over somebody else's mortgage.
Carly talks like everyone knows what a 1031 exchange
I
and
know.
sub 2.
I'm bad at that.
You don't have those things in Canada.
I know. I'm sorry.
In the States,
tell our Canadian audience, Jen.
Yeah. So in the States, they don't have a renewable mortgage with like a 1, 3, or 5-year term. It's like a 25-year amortization, and that's it. So if that property is going to go into foreclosure, someone can't sell it, they have a really bad situation and they need to get out of it, you can come in as an investor, buyer, and you can subject to that property. So you're assuming the loan, it stays in their name, but you will now make the payments and title will be yours. Whereas in Canada,
their name.
Yeah. Whereas in Canada, we can't do that because you have to refinance, right? So you'd have to qualify. So it's a very powerful tool for people who, don't have the money to go and buy a bunch of buildings or stuff like that. And I think we're going to see a lot of it in multifamily because people were doing bridge loans and then interest rates went up. So I think people are going to start to default on those mortgages and have no other option.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The bridge loan piece is really interesting, like in a short-term situation. Okay, but if you think it's going to be short-term and then it ends up being long-term, that can cost you a lot of money.
Yeah. And even if you're doing a bridge and so you're going to put a bunch into CapEx and everything to raise it, and then your goal is to refinance and you weren't conservative in your numbers, and now instead of a 3%, you're looking at an 8%. I mean, that drastically changes what that building's going to operate as. Yeah. What was it? 1031 exchange. So in the States, if you sell a property, you can roll that capital gains into another property as long as it's the same class and you don't pay the capital gains.
And capital gains, for our people that may not know, is the taxes that you have to pay on a property when you sell. Definitely in the United States. I believe you guys have that in Canada as well. So it's
so
like
you can't roll. Like you're paying it no matter what.
But you don't pay it on your primary residence.
Right. Yeah, not on your primary. Yeah.
And do you pay it in the US? Do you pay it on your primary residence?
What's that?
If you sell your primary residence in the US and you don't buy another one, do you pay the capital gains on it?
It doesn't matter if you buy another one. Well, so
and you don't like
you have to, I believe, I'm not a tax expert, so don't quote me on this. I believe if you live in it for over 5 years, there's a 5-year thing. I think it's if you live over at 5 years, you own it for 5 years, you don't have to pay it. But if you turn around and sell it under 5 years, there's a higher capital gains tax that you do have to pay. So
I think ours is 1 or 2 years in Canada to be considered your principal residence because they wanted to cut down on the amount that people were flipping.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. It could have changed, but when I sold my condo, you had a grace period of 1 year, not in it, before you had to pay capital gains on it.
Oh, wow.
So capital gains on like 3 months of not living in the condo.
Yeah.
It wasn't rented and we didn't live in it. And there was some amount of time that we did have to pay capital gains on, but it was only a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is get an accountant who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
None of us are accountants, and you need an accountant who is like looking out for your best interest, looking out for your best profit, not somebody who's like, yeah, I can probably figure that out, like an expert in real estate.
Yeah. So true.
And actual tax planning too. Yeah. I know for Seth and I, we look at KPIs of certain buildings, so like key performance indicators. And if there's ones that aren't meeting it, it's like, okay, so when are we going to sell that? If we sell that, what do we need to do in order to, pay the most appropriate tax possible, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your real estate goals. What are your goals? I know it's to buy an apartment building, but
So when
start at one.
when we sold our condo in Vancouver and moved here, we sold it after we had already moved to Victoria. When I had the cash from selling it, I was like, I had the thought, I want to buy an apartment building. This has got to be like I can do something with this cash. And I didn't have an avenue, like I hadn't met you yet. I didn't know what was possible. I didn't really know about coaching masterminds or anything. Like I knew about one-on-one coaching, but I didn't know that there's this whole community of people who are out there to help each other grow wealth in real estate. So I was like kind of hooked into how do I figure out market investing at that time. So I didn't buy an apartment building, and I learned about market investing, and I had my lady investors meet up, and I learned that it's actually really simple and kind of boring to talk about market investing, because if you do a lot of movement, then you lose a lot of money. So just calm down and buy a series of ETFs or stocks with good dividends, and there you go. Your market investing is done. So that's kind of boring for me. My strategy is long-term for that, for sure. So then when we bought this place and we had our Airbnb going, I was like, okay, I have a condo that I'm renting. I have an Airbnb. We have this house we're living in. The Airbnb is paying for a good chunk of what it costs to live in this house. I really want to do more in real estate, but because of where we live, like I just basically needed you to arrive so I could have some guidance, because we live in a very expensive place. And so it's actually hard to buy something in like the vicinity of where I live and make money on that investment.
Absolutely.
In a short period of time without like a 25-year hold strategy or 10-year hold strategy or something. Like the cash flow is not going to be the cash flow that is sustaining you as a family from like buying 1 or 2 condos or something here. And it's like you're going through the bank, you're being like, anyway, so it didn't make any sense. And so I've just been kind of like manifesting the arrival of someone who can like point me in the right direction. And I'm doing my homework. You told me
reading your books.
You told me to get into Brandon Turner. So I'm doing my homework.
Yay! That's a good one.
And I also have both volumes of The Multifamily Millionaire.
Good.
I'm learning, and then I'm awaiting the next opportunity, but like actively manifesting it, awaiting the next opportunity. Like I'm open, I'm ready, I'm learning every day, and I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. Whatever comes up next.
Yeah, I find it so interesting from your fundraising background. And I mean, maybe it was just because, you hadn't been exposed to other people in real estate that you thought you had to use your own money instead of raising capital to buy.
I think it's from not ever seeing an example of what's possible. Like, for research, I can put together any sort of fundraising plan, make the marketing material around it, ask my little heart out, build the capital and give it to the researcher and report back afterwards and ask for more. Like I'm so dialed in that world, and also building a fundraising business, quote unquote, that has that annual revenue that is consistent, like people who are paying the $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever that looks like. And then layering on the major gifts where people are giving hundreds of thousands to millions to multiple millions at a time to move something forward. Like I completely understand that, but I am not the beneficiary of it. That's the thing about fundraising, is like the mentality is not how can I apply this? It's like pay me a salary and I'll hustle for millions.
Right. Isn't it so crazy how we just like, it's like you're in behind those bars again that you were talking about, where you're just like, you don't even think that you could apply this to you have so much fundraising background. Jen has so much in capital raising for apartment complex. She just texted me and it was like, I made $1 million in a Zoom. Like, you two could get together and make a fund in 2 minutes, I bet.
Well, that's the other thing, is that what fundraising taught me is, one, I saw people giving that amount of money, and I was like, one day I'm going to be talking to a fundraiser who's processing my check. Like I always had that feeling. I was like, that seems scary, and like, is that possible? But I know it is. And then the other thing about fundraising is people have money and people want to know how to leverage it. And if you're talking to people who don't have money and aren't interested, you're talking to the wrong crowd. But if you're talking to the people who have money who want to leverage it, or you're talking to people who want to have money and are willing to work to get it, then you're in with the right people. The people are out there with money.
And I think the biggest change was, people are like, oh, I don't want to ask people for money. I don't want to ask people for money. And, in the first couple of deals, that's definitely what it felt like. But then I was like, I'm giving people an opportunity. They have this money. They may or may not be looking to do something with it. And I'm just providing a return if they choose to take that opportunity or not. And it's so interesting. People are so like zoned in on having their investor package and all that. And yes, absolutely, it's great. But the number of times that people are like, can I just give you money and like, I'll invest with you and then you just give me money back. And I was like, do you want to see the deal? They're like, no, I'm investing with you. I'm like, holy crap. So yeah, it's just like an evolution of, being more confident in yourself and not coming from that place of need instead of like offering, this is what I have. Do you want to be a part of this opportunity?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, it is being comfortable with what you're putting into the world. And like the people who don't want to see the deal, they trust you. They don't want to like get into the details of it. I guess then that falls on you to have all your ducks in order to be responsible. And that's something like as the leader of the organization or the fund or whatever that looks like, that you're doing your due diligence with your accountants and your lawyers and whomever else you're dealing with to make that happen so that everyone's protected.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing that Jen and I and would be fun to do with you too, that Jen and I want to do with this is one of our goals is to get a multifamily here and just take everybody along on the journey. So Jen, the master capital raiser, is going to take everybody through that, going through and underwriting it, looking at the property, deciding. So that's one of the things that we want to take on a journey. And it would be so fun to do it with you, and you can come in and give us the capital raising aspect of it and use the community.
Absolutely. And give people who are wanting to learn how to build their wealth the exposure and the opportunity to be able to do that in a way that's not like, truly, and this isn't up for workshopping in the comments if somebody feels like they don't believe this, but truly there is this like air of dismissing, especially young women who want to know more, who don't fully understand the situation yet. And making you feel like, and this has happened to me, making me feel like, yeah, well, you're cute, but whatever, we're not going to help you, just go along with this, just sign this thing, whatever, you don't even need to understand. I'll just tell you what to do. And I had a mortgage broker once who treated me like that. And every time I'd ask him a question, he wouldn't answer. But if my husband asked him the exact same question, he would answer. And then, so he obviously got fired and I never want to see him again. I keep trying to unsubscribe from his email list, but he keeps sending them to me. And he doesn't seem to get my message, but okay. And then when we sold our condo, I went to the bank to pay a chunk of money onto our mortgage. And I got the same question from the teller who asked me, does your husband know you're making this decision?
Was it a man or a woman that was the teller?
Oh yeah. My gosh. Like giving me the gears about putting $100,000 on my mortgage. And I just like that feeling of you don't know what you're talking about and you actually don't need to know. I've got this. Don't ask questions is so dismissive, so rude, so undermining. I'm not here for it. And we have like you two coming together to buy a multifamily, to take people on the ride, to be transparent about the process with people who invest, to show people what's possible when they come along on the journey. It's such a gift because I think women would be more courageous about building wealth if they weren't dismissed whenever they talk about it.
Yes. And you were saying, in the 70s, the men used to have to okay for the women to get a bank account. And that goes back to what you're saying, how everything really hasn't changed much. I bet if we have women in the comments saying that's happened to me too. That happened to me too. with we were flipping a duplex in Kansas City, and he said, does your husband know about, I'm not talking to you about this. Where's your husband? He didn't even know if I had a husband.
I can't even make this up.
You can't. And it's important to talk about this because it feels like 1970 sometimes. And there's some people that still have that 1970 mindset or whenever it was, and that's an important discussion to have with women. It happens, and it's important to talk about it and be like,
you're not the only one.
You're not the only one. Don't let it discourage you.
You're not stupid.
No.
Yeah.
Even if that's how they're trying to make you feel. It's not true.
mean, I'm always just a designer. Every time I show up on site, they're like, oh, are you the designer? I'm like, yeah, I'm the designer.
You're the designer. I'm the like nanny, the dog walker.
Mm-hmm.
Carly, what's your identity?
What's that?
What's your identity?
I don't know. The wife, probably. Yeah, I was talking to a seller, and he did not like what I had to say.
Because you were a female.
And I was just being firm. I was being firm, and I was not being rude. I was being firm, and I'm like, no. And he's like, let me talk to your husband. And I was like,
well, absolutely not. No.
Bye. We're done. We're done.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Oh my God.
It's so crazy.
Elena says you're the designer of our effing life.
Yes. I love it. We're the designers of our effing life.
I am the chief dog walker because I have financial freedom from real estate.
Yes. And that's what we're going for. Elena's like, yes, designer of our effing life. We are. And I think it's so important that we talk about this and be like, this shit happens to all of us in 2023. Like, are you kidding me?
No. Yeah, I mean, I think we're a long ways away from it not happening.
Yeah. We have to keep showing up.
Absolutely.
And like being the normal so that it changes. We can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, but if we're not making the investments that are changing the game and we're not making the money, this is why I think everybody should have an online business component of what they're doing. Yes. If we're not making the money to support, to back our decisions, then it's all a lot of talk.
Yes.
We are the captain of our souls. Peggy, I'm really into it.
That's the quote, isn't it? We're captain of the souls and masters of our destiny. Is like that whole quote.
Is Pace your husband?
Me? No, he's my boss.
Oh,
he's the leader of Sub 2. Oh, because Peggy says let them talk to Pace.
Yeah.
Pace is he's the master negotiator, and he teaches us how to talk to sellers and how to have those conversations. And he is very good at putting people in their place. He is the guy that teaches the mentorship that we're in subject to. But no, he's not my husband. He's married to Laura, who is also a badass. She has 2 kids. She's killing it. She's like the #1 realtor in Arizona. And I want to say what Elena said, and this is something that Jen and I want to do. This is a vision. I was telling Elena about this the other day. Elena was our first episode guest. And we were saying we want to have retreats where we can get together in real life and like have you and Nicole or someone talk about like the mindset aspect of it. And, we just we're each other's cheerleaders. And, the kids, you leave the kids at home and we just like, talk about money, talk about business, talk about how we want to go get JV or joint venture, partner up with each other and help each other up. So I agree, Elena, we do want to have a badasses retreat because we are badasses.
Yeah, we are. And Nicole and I are always down for a retreat. We love retreating. We have a retreat coming up here on Vancouver Island, end of the month. And we're leaving the laptops behind. And when we do retreats, we're like, okay, we work with ambitious women entrepreneurs who are online business owners who are always online. We're like, okay, leave your laptop, turn your phone off. We're doing breath work. We're doing EFT tapping. Nicole and I have a program that we bring people through. We are having VIP experiences. I can't say them all now because there's lots of surprises. And we have special dinners planned. Theme dinners. It's so fun. And it's so important to take a break and be together in community.
There's so much that is understated about community and being with somebody
In
No,
person.
Zoom is great. This is great. It's better than on the phone or something because you can see each other's faces and hear, but there is something to be said about having a community of people, just to be ready and just like help each other and leave it all the BS behind. Peggy says she's ready to sign up.
Okay.
How do
great.
you tell our listeners, is there a website that they can go learn about more?
Yeah, you can go to myalignedpurpose.com and then you can see on there if you're just starting an online business and you want support, or if you have an idea and you haven't actioned it yet and you want the accountability to make it happen, yeah, you can go to myalignedpurpose.com. Aligned Business School is our place to be if you're like, I know I want to do something. How exactly, step by step, do I bring this to life? Do like a beta launch of it, figure out what works, and then build out your next 6 to 12 months in online business. So that is Aligned Business School. You can go on our website. There's a link to our retreats as well. And we'll be announcing another retreat by the end of the month. And then for our VIP people who really want to get together weekly and mastermind with other women entrepreneurs, we have our higher level program called Platinum Experience. And that is like, it's a true commitment. It's a year long, and it is getting together with other women who are doing the work, sharing your stuff, sharing their stuff, collaborating, going deep into the relationship together and making it happen. So those are our 3 things. If you just want to come and check out what we're doing for free, you can go to myalignedpurpose.com/collective. And we have a free community where we all hang out. Nicole and I go live once a week. We have all of our free offerings in there. We often host like week-long things that we do together, week-long free events. We have all of our freebies in there, and we have like 36 months of manifesting book club information. We read a new professional development book every month. It's really fun. So
I love it. And I wanted to bring back to what you were saying about women talking about money and making money. You guys are killing it. You guys are very successful in this. So it's not like they know what they're doing. You said you're approaching 7 figures, right?
We're closing in on 7 figures in our business. And we're students of online business as well. We pass along everything we learn to our community, and we are learning about this every single day. How can we optimize our business so that we have time freedom, so that we have more money freedom to put our money where our mouth is, buy apartment buildings, do what we want to do with our life, and location freedom. Like I was just traveling for the last 2 weeks, and I didn't have to ask anybody for time off. And we have a little team that we work with, and we support each other. Nicole wants to go away. I take over a little bit. I'm going away. She does her thing. I've had 2 kids since having my aligned purpose. So and Nicole's gotten married, honeymoon. Like we're just packing in all the life events in the last 3 years. And we're doing that at the same time as building our wealth.
I love it. You are designing your life. You guys have designed your life.
Yeah.
Well,
mother effing life. And look how great it is.
Our talk. Otherwise, like, who would want to hang out with us?
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, Peggy's going to Panama. That's fun.
Panama.
That's where our assistant Paige lives in Panama.
I met Peggy in real life. I knew her from online, and I met her in real life the other day at Pace's book signing. Peggy, shout out to you. She's the sweetest. I love getting to know people online, like in these comments and stuff. And then just going back to like you were saying with the community, and then you're like, you meet each other in real life and you're like, we're best friends.
Yeah. When Jen and I had lunch, Jen and Nicole and I went for lunch, and we met, and I was like, hey, oh my God. So what's going on now? Like I've met her 1,000 times before.
Yeah. And we've only met each other once.
Yeah. I know. And when you popped on today, I'm like, I feel like I know you already, you and Nicole. Like I've been following you guys. We kind of like talk back and forth, it's just, it's so community. It's huge. Yeah. Huge. Well, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, this was super fun. And we'll make sure we share it across everything. If anyone wants to join us in the collective, I'll drop the link in here. And I saw you guys drop the link too. You can get in touch with us on Instagram at My Aligned Purpose. And yeah, let's make money and have a lot of fun and do a lot of good in this world together.
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay,
We'll
when
come back on this.
Yes, when we buy our apartment building together, will we come back and laugh at this episode and talk about how we thought we were like, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and then it actually did.
I know.
I
And
don't
we
think
won't.
there's any like
Yes.
we thought it's going to happen. I have no doubt it'll happen.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
But we'll revisit. We'll be like, remember?
We'll revisit. There we go.
Yeah, we'll be like episode 4 before we knew.
Before we
Episode
even
4,
knew.
crazy.
It's
Only
multifamily.
episode 4.
It's like when you came on, we can go on here backstage before we go live. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you too much because I want to keep it for the podcast. But Kayla's like, I said, I am going to have a multifamily. 2 days later, I met Jen and I'm like, I love that you speak like you already own it. And she's like, hell yeah, I do. I've already owned it. So,
Yes, mentally, I'm already there.
I
like,
love it.
yes. Let's do it. Okay.
Let's do it. Birdie says,
Yeah.
amen. Thank you, ladies. Birdie, we love you. She's another one of our people that I can't wait to meet in real life. So
Yeah, well, you two have to have your retreat.
we will.
Yeah.
And I want to come to yours. I'm gonna go look it up right now. So
Okay, come on.
well, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here, Kayla. I'm so happy to finally meet you.
Talk to you soon.
And
Bye.
all right, talk to you later, guys.